back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today we have, I don't know what part, I forgot, but we're making more socks, and I'm very excited because I'm actually self-drafting these socks. I feel like I said at least in one of these videos that like I wasn't ready to like make my own pattern or even attempt to, but it gets to a point, and the point being I didn't want to buy another pattern. It gets to a point where you just have to do it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling from kind of what I've learned so far, and just kind of like what I want it to look like, sort of, kind of what I want it to feel like, and then going from there. So yeah, I'm trying to start this video now because even though I'm going to have a very busy next couple weeks because it's the 28th of April, it's the last day of classes. I have to leave actually in like half an hour. It's the last day of classes, and the next 2 weeks are going to be insane, but I do want to work on these socks, and I do want to not forget to film me working on these socks. So let me just give you the rundown of what we've got so far. I started these yesterday, so I'm very happy with how far I've gotten. I am actually reaching a stopping point, I think, though. So we gotta, yeah, let me talk you through it. So first things first is I'm using the Patton's Crochet sock, and I'm very excited. I got this on my second to last Joann's visit. This is in the color Plum, and I got 3 of these. And I would say I'm like almost halfway through the first sock, and I'm this much through one ball. So I'm pretty sure I'll have enough. If I run out, like, I'm gonna crash out. But I do kind of want this to be a slightly taller sock, so we'll see how my yarn is looking. If I need to like keep it at an ankle sock, I will, but I kind of want this to have like a taller cuff. Yeah, so Patton's Crochet, and this is a weight 1 sock yarn. It says super fine, but it's not super fine. Like, that's what it looks like. And I have this other yarn that I made my last pair of socks with, and it was sold to me as a sport weight yarn, which is 1 up, and they look literally the same, if not the Patton's looks even thicker. So yarn weight is so subjective sometimes, I feel like. But anyways, so the suggested hook size for this yarn is 3.25, and usually I have to go smaller, but I am actually using a 3.25, my clover hook, because it's one that I had. So I was like, okay, this works, because I also didn't want to use a small hook and that contribute to running out of yarn. So I just went with the 3.25. I have to forgive also my drying laundry. I despise clothes shrinking in the dryer, so I air dry, like lay flat, a lot of my t-shirts, my sweats, and my sweatshirts that I like do not want. Like, I want them oversized. Anyway, tangent. So let me just show you what I have so far. This is her. I'm kind of obsessed. Okay, so like this is a V-stitch. I think it's called a V-stitch. And I learned this stitch when I was making the summer racing tank from Evelyn and Peter. I'm obsessed with that tank top. I actually just frogged the one I made in my video a few weeks ago, like my spring cleaning video. I frogged that tank. There's reasons why I'm gonna remake it this summer, but I learned this stitch from that tank, and I really love it. I love the way it looks. It works up quickly, and yeah. So what I did is I'm kind of basing it off of this sock. This is the Alice sock, and I made this last fall, and it's okay. I think it's a little big on me, so that's why I'm using it as a guide for a lot of things. But one of them is, you can see, and also this is wool, so like I want to block it a little bit, obviously, but you can see this sock already is a bit just a tiny bit less wide. The differences though is I was kind of trying to amend the things I didn't like about this pattern. So firstly is this pattern is worked from top to toe, and then you like do the ribbing, sew the ribbing together, and then work around this way. And I just didn't like that because I also felt like that's why it's too big, I think. So I've started this one at the toe, and I used the same size hook, but I just did single crochet increases, like working in the round. And then when I got to the end of the toe, I started going back and forth, which is what you do with this sock. Instead of like going in circles, you go literally like this, like all the way around. And I'm pretty sure that's just so the seam doesn't move. but I didn't want the seam to move. Otherwise, I would have done this. If I was doing like all one stitch, I would have just gone in the round. But because I know that's crocheting, like the seam moves when you do that, I didn't want that because I wanted the top part to have this V-stitch and the bottom part to be more flat. So I stole that from the Alice sock that is going back and forth. Yeah, and then as you can see here, there are increases, and I basically, when I was, it's actually not that noticeable. You can see it like here. When I increased only on the two sides. And I think I started like from the toe to like where the last increases. I want to say I increased like 4 times, but you know, it's kind of spread out. And then this does look like obviously crazy, but when I have it on, it's quite even. It's just like the way it looks flat that it does that. The reason I say that I'm at a stopping point is because, as you can see, I am just about here, which means I need to increase more. I believe this part of the sock is called the gusset. I don't know. I watch a lot of knitting podcasts, but I don't always like transfer the information because it's for knitting. But basically, I need to do these increases so that it's not too small to actually get on my foot. And I think I'm going to do, when I was doing increases like for the foot, I did increases on the top V-stitch and the single crochet. So like down here, there's 8 V-stitches and up here there's 12. But I kind of don't want it to go wider than the 12. So all the remaining increases are going to be in this single crochet part, which I'm totally fine with. And I'm going to just keep working the V-stitches as normal. And then I also want this V-stitch pattern to go all the way up the foot, while this all of this right here is going to be single crochet. And I am going to do the same idea for single crochet. I'll have to see if I have the notes for the heel just for numbers wise, because the only problem is that with this sock, the ribbing, heel, and toe are all in a smaller hook size. So I'm not doing that because I'm lazy. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to probably do a smaller hook for the top ribbing, like cuff, and I'm going to do a different stitch, but that's later. So I'm going to do the same stitch, but I'm going to see if I can get a similar stitch count because I'm okay with how this heel looks. It's not my favorite, but I don't really feel like learning a new one right now. So I have to figure that out, but I also don't have the time to do that right now. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Apologize for the angle. You're on my laptop on my bed, but I've got some pretty big updates about the sock and I'm very excited with how it's going so far. So this is what we have. She looks like a sock. Oh my god, you can even see from here just the difference to like the V-stitch. Obsessed. So this is what I have so far, and this is what I have left of the first of 3 balls of this yarn. And it's raining again. Oh my god. Anyways, so basically got through, I think I left off in this video, like here maybe. I don't remember. But I increased. I don't remember. I might have increased before the heel. I might have not. Actually, no, I think I definitely did like around here. Then I worked the heel. Then I think I did one more increase. No, I did like 1 or 2 rows with a little bit of increase after the heel. And then I started decreasing in the back. And now for 4 rows now, I've just been crocheting with this pattern. And I think I could afford to not have done either increases here or increases here. Because when I block it, I just won't stretch it when I block it. Like I'll stretch it a little bit so that like this is more like straight. And so this is more like that. But like width-wise especially, I don't think I'm going to block it. And I'm going to try to block it lengthwise as little as possible because it really doesn't need it. It fits like kind of perfectly. Which is fun, but then I'm scared that it'll grow because this is wool. So don't know yet. Hoping it doesn't grow too much. I also am wearing the socks, so like this is gonna look kind of funky, but would you look at that? I have literally like that much yarn left, so perfect. Now, I put it up against my favorite pair of store-bought socks. My favorite produced socks in existence for like, I think over a year now. Target sells these mostly cotton, it's like cotton and nylon, polyester, cotton and something, but they're like almost 100% cotton, all of them. They come in packs of 3 in all these neutral colors. I love them. They're like $8. But this is like one of my favorite pairs because there's a few different styles. And I realized that I'm already, like my cuff, like whatever, like this part right here is already taller on my sock. So I'm looking at it and I see that there's literally just the tiniest bit of like ribbing here. So I think I'm just going to copy that and have like a little bit, because let me show you my sock. So it's been evening out. Forgive that I have a phone charm, okay? So this whole sock, this front part has been slightly taller because it's the V-stitch, and it was mostly evening out here. And then when I did the heel, you can see this row of half double crochet. I had to add a couple rows of half double crochet just to, because it was getting like really far behind, so I had to like bring this side up a little bit. And then the same thing now, where even when it's stretched out, you can see, sorry about my little charm, you can see like it's a little bit taller. So before I do the ribbing, and then also like there's the tiniest bit of like looseness like right here because my ankle is a little thinner. Not much though, and I think if I get taller it won't make that much of a difference. But what I'm going to do this next row is I'm going to even out the V-stitches. So the V-stitch is worked where it's in the same stitch is a single crochet, 2 chains, and then another single crochet. And so I think I'm just going to go across, just do 2 single crochet in each spot, and then I'm going to do half double crochet on this side. And there's 24 single crochet here, and then there's 1 single crochet on each side of 12 V-stitches. So basically I should end up after this row with 50 stitches around, and then after that I'll do the ribbing in a slightly smaller hook for probably like 3 or 4 rows only. So yeah, like I said, I have other things to do, but I really can't be bothered right now because I am so close to finishing this sock. I just want to get it done. So I think after I do that, I'll feel much better about my other responsibilities, but I do want to finish this. And then I also, I packed up all my stuff. So I have to look in my box actually and find, hopefully I didn't put it like at the bottom, but I need to find my other hook. Or maybe I'll keep it. I might keep it. If I can't find it, I'll just keep this 3.25 hook for the double crochet for the ribbing part, but I'm going to see what it looks like, really. Okay, it's 11:15. The first sock is done. The first sock is done. Ends woven in and everything. This is what she looks like. Kind of crazy right now, but I think it'll look a little less crazy after I block it. And I also just remembered that I have blocking mats at home, so I'm going to, I think, take these home and block them. Maybe. I don't know the timeline. I don't know when this video is going out, guys. But what I will say is there is not so much a fit issue as I'm hoping it'll be. Basically, I wanted this to fit like my heel well. That's why I did these decreases. But between these decreases and this part that I want to fit my ankle, it is a little bit hard to get on my foot. It is possible. I do it. It's fine. But I think it could relax ever so slightly. But then when I block it, I have to be careful because I don't want to block the length or the width that much, except for like this part. Let me put my phone down actually, because I don't know why I'm holding it. But so when I block it, I'm going to straighten this out slightly, straighten this out slightly. And I don't want to block the width like that, but I do want to block it like right here. Just so ever so slightly here, I think could be a little wider, a little more relaxed. And yeah, so this is the first sock. I literally used the second ball of yarn just for the ribbing, or I think like halfway through the last row into the ribbing. So we are very close to, if I were to like take out a row or two from the length, or take out one of the increase rows somewhere, I feel like I could get it one sock with one ball, which is very watching while I was at school, then you wouldn't know. But this is my room back home in Texas. Working on the second sock, ran into a small problem of I thought I was done with like the repeat that I was doing, but then I looked at my notes and I could not find my notes, and then it was shorter than the first sock. But I think I also am crocheting tighter, which is kind of annoying, and I'm realizing is a problem. So I added a few rows and I started the heel, and I just hope it fits, honestly. Hey guys, coming to you on Saturday. I literally was supposed to finish this sock like yesterday at least so I could block it, but I think I'm gonna just block it tonight. Well, I'm gonna finish it right now. It's only 8 in the morning, and then we're gonna go out all day. So I'm gonna block it, and then hopefully like by tonight, tomorrow morning, it'll be dry because it's a million degrees here and I've got 2 fans going, so like hopefully it dries. And they're also just socks. But I am starting the cuff now, the very last part, and I'm just kind of annoyed because I am once again just under, like I just have 3 rows of double crochet left, and this is all I have left of the second ball of yarn, which means I have to break into the third one, which is just like I just like don't want to. So, but what I'm also hoping this means is I think these socks might be a tiny bit too big. Maybe like, I think what I always get freaked out about is that the foot is not going to be big enough, like this part. So we're going to see how it fits, because if I can shave off just a little bit, like a row or 2, I guess 2 rows from each sock, then I will be able to make socks with just 100 grams of yarn, which is amazing. So that's kind of, I'm fine with it right now because I have this third ball, but I really want to get to the point where I can buy either 2 50-gram balls or 1 100-gram skein and be like, yep, I can make socks with this. I know how to do it. I've done it before, kind of thing. So that's kind of like my end goal, I guess, which is we will get there. But all I'm doing right now is this front and back post cuff, and I just switched to a smaller hook to do that. But yeah, not actually much to talk about. I'm gonna finish this. Oh, I guess for blocking, I don't have wool wash here, so I'm just gonna find, I'm pretty sure we have laundry soap, and then I'm gonna throw a little bit of conditioner in there. I googled it, and that seems like an alternative that people use, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of soap, a little bit of conditioner, and then make sure I just wash it, rinse it out before I like set it to block. And luckily I do have blocking mats and pins here, so yeah, this is, I guess, what it looks like before, and we will see what it looks like after. So I am back with my finished socks. I think they look really nice. I have not tried them on yet. I literally just took them off the blocking mat. So we are going to try these on and see how they look. Actually, at first glance, I want to say that I over-corrected my mistake. Or maybe my cat just walked into my tripod. Hey girl. Okay. One of them does seem slightly longer, and that could have been either in blocking or when I lost track of the row amount in my second sock, I might have added too much. So that's my bad, but hopefully it won't be too noticeable. I wish there was like an easier way for me to show this, but I don't really want to like move my camera, but they're on. Actually, let me just, hold on. So they're on. They fit pretty well, honestly. Kind of impressed. Let me talk through, hey Ophelia, kind of what I'm feeling. So right off the bat, one of them was easier to get on than the other. Couldn't really tell you why, they just were. The only thing really that I don't love right now is the toe. There's the tiniest bit of gapping under, like on the bottom side of my toe, and my assumption is because I was doing increases in the round, obviously it, so I think honestly, my cat's messing, might knock stuff over. Hold on. Ophelia, can you move? Can you not? We'll see. I think what I'll try maybe for my next one is if I, instead of starting with a circle and increasing in the round, if I start with the chain and increase kind of only in an oval, and that might get rid of the gapping in the toe. Otherwise, I really like it. It was a tiny bit of a struggle to get on. I think I could alter because the ankle part is like slightly fitted. It's fitted, but I don't know if I don't like how it feels because it's wool or because it's fitted. So I think if I got rid of, overall, I really like them. I think the V-stitch is slightly lost in this yarn because this yarn's kind of fuzzy. I think you get the idea that like the top of the sock is textured, just not quite like as clear that it's the V-stitch, which is fine. I think I could totally redo this in like a superwash yarn or something that has less fuzz. But overall, I'm really happy with these socks. Yeah, that's really all I have. Another one in the books. Next time I make socks, I think I want to go back to the ribbon sock pattern that I did in the last sock video and kind of alter that one because that sock is really, really nice. It just, I don't know if it's my tension or the pattern. Something the sizing wasn't working, and I would love to rework that. Either, I have two thoughts. I'm either going to rework it with a yarn that I have a lot of, like a fingering weight yarn, or I'm going to try to redo the same thing with a DK weight and make a bigger, chunkier sock as like a boot sock kind of situation, because I do have two skeins of DK weight yarn that would be really pretty, but I don't know if I want to use that for something else yet. Because there's no nylon in it and it's like a boot sock, so I'm not sure about that one, but I also don't know what I'm gonna do with those two yarns, so who knows. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, all the links to all the other links to support me are down below. You can check out my Ravelry wish list. I'm going to be doing a lot of project planning coming up because I do want to rework a lot of my plans and yarn and stuff, so definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you want to check out my Instagram, I post pretty often on there. It's kind of a blast, kind of a fun time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.